Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to this video. We'll be learning about writing to files. If you are new, don't worry. This is the previous course that we had where we are reading from files. And one thing that I didn't mention is that if the file you're trying to read is in the same directory as the Python file, you can just ignore that path and just write the name of your file. But this is only if they're in the same path. So if I run this code, we'll just get the same results as the one that I got in the previous video. As you can see, you look good. Have a nice day. Bye. That is because this text file is in the same directory as the Python file. So in this video, we'll be learning about writing to files. Let's dive right in. In the previous video, we talked about the file modes, and we say we have different types of file modes. And in the previous video, we used this R, and we said by default, if you don't provide any file mode, the file mode will be R, and this R is used to read files. So while opening a file, because you can't work with files unless you open them, so you have to open a file so that you can do anything with that file. So while opening the file is when you define the file modes, and when you're opening that file using with the read defined R. But now since you are writing, there are two possible file modes you can use, the W and the A, and let us look at the difference between the two. So with this W, you will overwrite the file. If it exists, you'll just overwrite it, and if it does not exist, it will create a new file and write that content. But with this append, it will just append that thing you write at the end of that text file that you have. I think that is clear, so let us see it in practice. So currently I have this text file. It has some data. As you can see, there are 3 lines there. So let me show you how this W works. So I'll just change the read mode, the mode here to write with this W. Then let me change all this code. So if you want to write to files, there's this method called the write. As you have said earlier, if you open a file, it is an object, it returns an object. Then we save that object to a variable, in this case file. Then we can use the methods like the read, and here is the write. So write is just a method that is available with the file object. So I can just say file dot write. Then I can just write anything that I want. So let me write hello world like that. Then maybe I can put a new line \n. That's the way that you want it. So if I run this code, it will open that file because it exists. Then it will write hello world to that file. So now if I open this text, you can see my text file contains hello world. Initially it had some 3 sentences saying you look good, have a good day, bye. But since I used this write, it overwritten that file. So the file was existing, all the content went away and new content was added. That is how this W works. But if I put here A, let me just change this to A. So you can see currently my file has hello world. Now I want to write to that file using this A. Let me just put here, let's say, another line like that. Then if I run this code, you'll see that this text, another line, will be added to that file. You can just confirm. You can see there's this another line has been added. This hello world is still there, and this another line has been added, but with W it deletes what was there and writes new ones. But the common thing with both is that if the file does not exist, it will create it. So let me just try with that W first. So I'll just come and delete. I come here and delete this file. You can see the file is here. I'll just delete it. So I've deleted that file. It's no longer there. Then I'm running this code. I'm trying to open a file that does not exist. But I'm opening it with this write mode. So let me run this code to see what will happen. So if I run that code, wait for it to run. It has run. Let's just check our files now. So you can see now our file will contain this new text file. It was not there initially. You saw that I deleted it, but now since I've run this code, this file was created, and it will have the text hello world. And the same happens with this append. If the file is not there, it creates that file and adds that text. So that is how you write to a file. So far we have been writing just one sentence or one line to that text file. But what if you wanted to write multiple lines? If you want to write multiple lines, you can use this one called write lines. Just like how we had read line and read lines, now you have write lines. And this write lines, you pass to it a list. I believe you know about lists. So for me to use that write line, I just say here write line. So let me just change my code to write line. Then with this write line, you pass a list of things that you want it to be added. So I'll just copy this because I don't want to type all this. So I'll just copy that list and maybe paste it here to my code. So you can see I have a list, and if you're keen, you know that the output of read lines was something like this. In the previous video, we printed what read lines gave out, and we saw that it gave out a list. And for us to get each individual item of that list, we had to look through that list. Also, if you want to write multiple lines to a file, you use this write line and you pass a list to that write line. So here I just pass my list. My list is called lines, like that. So now I'm trying to write to this file using this multiple lines, and now if I run this code, you'll see my content will be deleted because I said this W. I think I missed the spelling there. It's supposed to be write lines, not line. Lines, like that. So if I save this code and run it again, the existing content in the text file will be deleted. Then this one that I've added now will be added. We can just confirm that in this text file, indeed, we had some new text. So basically, that's how you write to a file. And for status, you have to know the difference between the W mode and the write and the append. If said with write, it creates a new file. If that file does not, if that file you're opening is not there, it will create a new file and add that content to that new file. But if that file exists, it will override the existing content and put some new content. That is how the write works. But with append, if the file does not exist, it creates that new file. So the common thing with write and append is when if that file does not exist, both of them create a new file. But with append, if the file exists, it does not remove the existing content, but it appends it. And that is how the append works. So a bonus is this one called the X, and this one just creates a file. So you just use it. It's just another file mode that is used for creating a file. Maybe I can just show you how that happens. So maybe I can say, let me try to open a file that is not there. So maybe remove this old code. Then maybe I can just say open, or I can just use the same code that I had. Then I delete these ones and remove this. Then I take this. So I'm trying to open a file using the X, and let me delete this file, this text file. I'll just delete it so that you can see how this X works. So this is not there. You can see it's not there. So if I run this code, what this X will do, it will just create a new file, nothing more. So if I run this code, it will just create a new empty file. You can see it has created that file. So I'll just go here and I'll see that file has been created, but this file will just be empty because the work of this X mode is just to create a new file. So that is it for this video, guys. The main thing that you learned in this video is to how to write to files using the W and the A mods. And that is it for this video. Peace out.